Lila,
Yes?
I forgot what a sweet singing voice you have.
Thank you, Auntie.
Like a little bird.
Oh, God, Mama!
I do like the tree so far.
Where did that star come
I
from?
bought it at Rich's.
Oh, take it down.
Why?
Take it down this minute.
I like it.
Jewish Christmas trees do not have stars.
Why not?
You know exactly why not.
A star is a symbol of the birth of the Messiah.
Oh, really?
If you have a star on the tree, you might as well go back down to Rich's and buy a manger seat and stick it out in the front yard.
No. I like that.
Then everybody who drives down Haversham Road will think we're just a bunch of Jewish fools pretending to be Christian.
Yes, they will.
What are you talking about? We have a big old Christmas tree right here in the front window.
A Christmas tree is a different thing altogether. It's a festive decoration, like a Halloween pumpkin or a Valentine heart. Anybody with any sense in their head knows that Christmas is just another American holiday. Now take down that star.
I wish you two could see yourselves.
Is my hair funny?
Atlanta is the center of the world tonight. You two are going to ask me over a Christmas tree ornament. We ought to be celebrating.
Celebrating what, I'd like to know.
My God, Mama. Clark Gable is less than 5 miles from here this very second.
And exactly what does that have to do with us?
Drat.
Tonight is the most important event in the history of Atlanta.
Maybe to Margaret Mitchell, but not to me, and certainly not to you.
I did something wrong. I'm never going to get this sweater finished in time for Sonny to take back to college.
Why, certainly not for me.
You have other things to think about.
Like what?
Ballyhoo.
Oh, Ballyhoo is ages away.
It's less than 2 weeks and nobody's asked you.
I don't care.
Well, I do.
You can get someone to ask you and leave me alone.
Call Sylvan Wild and Lake Charles, that's all I ask.
Mama,
Why not?
girls don't ask boys to Ballyhoo.
I didn't say to ask him. I said to telephone him. And after you've chatted for a while, you can inquire about his plans for the holidays. Casually.
I don't care what his plans are for the holiday.
Well, of course you do. You and he are good friends.
Oh, we are not good friends. We are acquaintances.
Acquaintances? What about that house party at Myrtle Beach? And it's certainly all you talked about when you got back from Edith Asher's wedding in Birmingham last month.
Is all you talked about? Louisiana Wild! Louisiana Wild! Finest family in the South! Wow, 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 wow!
There is nothing wrong with good bloodlines.
Maybe. If you're breeding Cocker Spaniel.
I'm sure he's a lovely boy.
He's not very romantic.
Well, let's face it, Lila. Clark Gable probably is not going to invite you to Ballyhoo.
Somebody just might.
Who?
Ferdy Nachman.
Oh, I wouldn't go around with him if I were you.
Why not?
His father picked his nose during his own wedding ceremony.
What has that got to do with anything?
I was a bridesmaid. I saw it. Dr. Solomon was just about to say the blessing, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Max Nachman take his index
No,
finger.
Reba, for God's sake!
Well,
Ferdy Nachman is 4 years younger than you.
So what?
You'll be the laughing stock.
Said you.
I know what I'm talking about. Call Lake Charles.
I have to get ready to go.
Go where?
To town.
For what?
The premiere.
You don't have a ticket for the premiere.
I don't care. I'll get to see everything.
You're planning going and standing in the street?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
I want to feel excitement in the crowd. To taste it. To smell it.
why would you want to smell a lot of people you don't know?
It doesn't mean that literally, Reba.
Oh,
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Going downtown by yourself in the dark.
You don't understand. I have to.
Have to lie.
Well, I might as well go ahead and tell you the news.
What news?
I'm writing a novel.
Oh my Lord.
It takes place in Atlanta during the Reconstruction period, and the title is Though Your Sins Be Scarlet.
well, I swan. Good for you.
And I promise y'all won't say a word to anybody until the publication date is set.
Publication date? How much of this novel have you written?
Well, I know exactly how it's going to end, and I thought the first sentence this afternoon. From where she sat atop the rugged buff-board wagon, Roper Ragsdale could see the charred and twisted remains of her beloved plantation.
Roper Ragsdale?
My hero, short for your Roper, that's on above the poem. Anyway, that's why I have to go be at the premiere.
Exactly what is why?
Mama, obviously my novel will more than likely be made into a movie, so that's why I have to go to town and see what all the premieres like.
The child has a point, Boo.
She does not have a point, and I'll ask you to kindly stay out of this. Lala, for the life of me, I don't know why you waste your time on all this utter foolishness when you could so easily be doing something more constructive.
Like what?
Call The Wild Boy in Lake Charles.
My novel is not foolishness.
Your novel does not exist. The Wild Boy does.
Your mama has a point.
You didn't listen to me up at the University of Michigan, and look what happened. You got so humiliated.
That wasn't my fault.
It was that awful sorority.
It was not the fault of Sigma Delta Tau. You did not prepare for rush week.
Mama,
I told you to prepare some peppy and interesting topics for discussion. And you paid me no mind, and look what happened. You got so humiliated, and you were rejected.
I was accepted into 85.
That's true.
Oh, 85. Nobody but the other kind belongs to 85, and the whole world knows it.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, you better. Your place in society sits there waiting for you, and you do nothing about it.
Guess what, Mama? We're Jews. We don't have any place in society.
We most certainly do. Maybe not right up there at the tip top with the best set of Christians, but we come mighty close. After all, your great-grandma's cousin Clemmy was the first white child
born in Atlanta. God knows I've had that information drilled into my skull enough times.
Then why hasn't it sunk in? Why don't you use your connections and your birthright to make something of yourself instead of moaning over nonsense like tree trimming and movie premieres?
Mama, you can manage to ruin Christmas and Gone with the Wind in one fell swoop.
Poor thing. I think she must be constipated.
Well, there certainly must be something wrong with her. I mean, how hard could it be to pick up the telephone and place a call to Lake Charles, Louisiana?
Her head is full of that novel she's writing.
Reba, she is no more writing a novel than I'm entering the Miss Georgia Beauty contest.
Well, she said she was.
Yes, and last month she said she was writing scripts for Our Gal Sunday for the radio. And before that she said she was going to become an illustrator for Saturday Evening Post. I think she just dreams up this trash to torture me. Doesn't she know her life is passing her by? She's the only girl in her crowd not married.
The Dolman girl isn't married.
Well, of course, she's not married. How could she be married? She's up in Milledgeville in the insane asylum.
People get married in insane asylums all the time.
That's jails, Reba. People get married in jails.
Oh.
And Babette Dolman was never in Lawler's crowd to begin with.
She most certainly was.
What? I should know who was and wasn't in my own daughter's crowd.
Then how come you invited her to that Easter egg hunt you had for Lila at the club that time?
That was 20 years ago. The girls were 2 years old.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I blame Lawler's whole situation on the red measles.
Uh-huh.
She was the cutest little baby you ever saw. And she had so many birthday party invitations in nursery school that I ran out of ideas for presents to give. And then the first week of kindergarten, she came down with the red measles. The very first week. And by the time she was well enough to go back to school, all the popular children had already formed their attachments. And no matter how hard she tried, or I tried for her, she could just never catch up.
And she's such a sweet little thing.
Then why is she so unpopular?
Well, she gets herself so worked up when she's out in society. I think she scares people off.
And now this Ballyhoo business.
Oh, heavens. Sonny doesn't have a date to Ballyhoo either. And I never give it a second thought.
Sonny has college to occupy her mind. I tell you, Rita, sometimes I can just hear God sitting up there in the sky, giggling his head off at the joke he's played on me.
I never thought of God playing jokes.
What else would you call it then? You've got a daughter blooming like a rose up at Wellesley, and I've got a daughter who snuck home in disgrace from the University of Michigan in the middle of her first term. I was never so embarrassed in my life.
She said she was homesick.
And luckily, all of Atlanta believed it.
Luckily, it's common knowledge that homesickness is a serious problem in your family.
It is not.
What? You were so homesick on your wedding trip that DeWalt had to bring you back home from Point Clear 5 days early.
That was the silliest thing I've ever heard. DeWalt was called home for a business meeting.
I know that's what you said to everybody, but your mother told me the truth.
What truth?
Didn't I ever tell you this? The day before your brother and I married, your mother said to me, "Now, Rebecca, I don't want you making a fool of yourself on your wedding trip and mortifying everybody in the family like Beulah did." And of course I did. Simon and I stayed our 2 full weeks at Tybee Island.
Yes. And Simon told Mama what happened on your wedding night. And Mama repeated it to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Simon told Mama he went to get in bed with you on your wedding night, and you were sitting there with a thermometer stuck in your mouth.
I felt flushed. I didn't want him to catch anything.
Talk about making a fool of yourself on your wedding night.
What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
Well, look at you. You're just throwing clumps of tinsel at that poor tree. It's supposed to go on. Strange. By strange.
Thank you. I didn't know I had the honor of decorating with a tinsel next to it.
Evening, Reba.